Thank you, John, for the wonderful presentation. We have some time for the question and answer, Q&A question.
Okay.
If anyone would like to ask the question, you could pass the, or you could use the microphone in the middle of the auditorium to speak. Yeah.
Use the microphone. You can be as scared as I am. Well, it was a combination of the dragon that was living by the bridge and a man who came second in the race for head of the village. And the Balinese system is so democratic that one guy in the village who wants to embarrass the head of the village can hold up a project as long as any building inspector in Ohio. And that's been the holdup. Next.
Next question, please. Could I ask you a little bit about the curriculum of the school, the green school, whether they are different, the way the students learn their lessons and how they, because I think there are quite an intense physicality of green and how the building actually serve as a site of the studies, but what about the curriculum?
Well, the more liberal the upbringing of the parents, the more conservative their views about education. So we have the head education with the A's and B's and C's, and we're working toward the International Baccalaureate. And we have the heart education with people building bamboo structures and having the experience of being in a green world.
So the student themselves kind of like use all the spaces and then change the location of studies, and also they involve in the activities like buildings of the school itself. Do they involve in the process of building the school? And
the 7-8 class are building a clubhouse. There will be programs, and we're also opening a satellite campus program for architectural schools, because we've had many architects come and visit, and the idea is to have people come for 3 or 6 months and learn to build with artisans, with sustainable materials, and get them a rest from the design CAD life that they live. And we hope to have at least one satellite campus for architects up in the next 6 months.
The question from the audience, it's a wonderful place. I'm wondering if your kids are going to the green school and how do they like it? How do the students themselves think about the school?
Well, it's not a perfect world, but I have heard one of my daughters say, "Dad, the weekend is too long." And I've had another one, the little one, say, "Dad, I'm bored." And that was Sunday morning. So it's not a perfect world. But I think that a lot of kids that choose green school are really happy to be there.
Right. When will you move to Thailand? You mentioned earlier from the beginning of the presentation.
Well, I'm coming to Thailand as soon as all supplies of oil are finished. Because I do remember spending 1 hour and 40 minutes screaming yesterday between the airport and my hotel.
I have looked at your website on the jewelry design. So are you continue to do, because some of the bracelet and some of the jewelry that you design, also when people purchase the jewelry, then you also promise to plant the bamboo in the forest? And is that still continuing?
Yes. That was the idea that I wanted to advertise, and I'm sure a lot of you people advertise, and I wanted to advertise in a sustainable magazine. There aren't any. Those magazines are quickly ripping the lungs of the planet, which are in Russia and Canada, out of the earth. And so what I did was I made the commitment to plant enough bamboo to make the amount of carbon that was being created by the pages that I was buying in the magazines. Not by the whole magazine, but my page at least was carbon neutral.
The question is that how do you gain your knowledge in architecture and engineering? Because since you are the jewelry designer, and I think some of the audience are curious of how do you learn through it?
Well, I don't want to fall into the architect trap, but we have fabulous engineers. And I don't have any knowledge. I came from a little village. I didn't do well enough in school to become a fireman or a building inspector. I dreamt of being an architect, but no architecture school would have me. I ended up having to go to art college, and I have no skills. But I do walk under a hole in the cosmos. And out of that hole, I'm blessed to have a constant stream of ideas falling on my head. And that's my only talent. And I try in my life to support people that are hugely talented and hugely tolerant, in the case of my wife, around me, to allow some of those things that I feel should be done to happen.
And the other question is that, so you are aiming to build a resort, maybe, or a place where people could go relax instead of a school from the presentation?
Well, we have several jobs that are coming at us. One is in the Seychelles, which I didn't talk about it very much. I just showed you the beautiful models, and it's for a green resort. The Seychelles island is actually a coconut plantation, and they hope to run between solar and coconut oil the entire resort, but it will be extremely green.
Question? Yeah.
John, I was wondering if you have musical education in grade school, and if so, if you're exploring music with bamboo.
Putu Whitson, who is the man in charge of the tribe that I showed, has the little kids with bamboo gongs. He has all kinds of Balinese music going on at all times. And we have a mother, and my wife came home recently and said, that saved my whole day. A mother from Hawaii who has a marimba that she built, and the kids were playing it. And if you've ever heard the marimba, it's a totally happy experience.
Please use the microphone.
ครับครับผมก็มี2คำถามนะครับ thank you for the impressive presentation. I have 2 questions for you, Mr. Hardy. The first one is, since bamboo is natural material and each piece of them might not have exactly the same quality, I mean the engineering quality, so how do you control and select the quality to build your building? And do you need to do a bamboo farming, particularly for the construction purpose?
Bamboo forest. It's like you have to build particular bamboos.
And this is the first question. And the second question is, sorry.
Can I answer the first question first? Because I'm dyslexic, and I'll never remember the first question.
Okay, all right.
We believe in, I'll answer it backwards because I'm dyslexic. We believe in village plantation. If you've seen pictures of Malaysia recently, they tore down the forest, they tore down the ecology, and built oil palm plantations. The nature of a village plantation is getting hundreds of thousands of bamboo clumps into villagers' land in appropriate places. And bamboo is so productive. Once you have a bamboo clump established 7 years, you will have 10, 15, 20, 25 bamboo come up every year, and 3 years later you can cut them, and that's forever. We have clumps of bamboo in Bali that have been producing longer than the oldest grandfather that's in the village. So bamboo is a forever material. We are encouraging Balinese to plant cash bamboo, big, strong, powerful, beautiful bamboo.